Hey, I'm back! Day 18 of 100 days of YouTube in my pasties and pull-ups sweater. I'll put a link in the comments if anyone wants to buy one of these bad boys. We've got lots of other great swag, particularly good if you're a CrossFitter in the Southwest. Right, what are we talking about today? The three biggest mistakes that we make as sellers in large enterprise deals. And we do this all the time. And the first one is happy ears. This is the nemesis of every salesperson, along with the gatekeeper. You hear the client talk about a problem and we think, great, we know that problem, we can solve that problem, and we jump straight to solution. We don't take the time to understand the impacts, the pain, the issues this is creating down the road in the business. We don't take the time to understand where it sits in the priorities of the organization in terms of solving that. We create a business case internally, we get people aligned, we produce proposals and presentations and demos and all this kind of stuff, and the deal just comes to a grinding halt. It seems obvious to us, right? Because we solve these problems all day. That's what our solution does. It doesn't seem obvious to the client. We haven't created value by taking them on that pain journey, by understanding what other stakeholders are involved, the pains that they have. Do they understand actually how this benefits? Have we talked them through what the future state could look like? That actually, if they implemented our product or solution, how wonderful things would be. It'd all be milk and honey and birds singing and barbecues in the sun. All right. We haven't taken them on that journey. We just hear the problem and we go straight to the solution. So, number one, happy ears. And it's very difficult to come back to because typically we've got so far down the road, we either have to come right the way back to the beginning or the deal just dies and we have to kill it off because they've spent enough time with us. They've used up their energy. They've invested all they had in talking to us. We haven't created enough value. In fact, we've stolen value by taking up their time, and it just goes away. Second one, and this is a classic, getting halfway through a deal with only really one good point of contact. We think it's a champion because they want to talk to us and they're sharing insight and so on, but they get a bit funny about us if we ask to talk to somebody else. We haven't spent the time early on to set the expectation that we will be talking to other people. So then we worry that if we go round them, they'll get upset and we'll lose the one person in the deal that we have a good relationship with. They turn into a cul-de-sac. Their insecurity or their lack of connectedness or their lack of influence and authority in the organization means that we got nowhere else to go. Best way around this is to just bite the bullet, get your boss to reach out to one of their execs, try and get that exec to exec alignment. And at the same time, you then just ask for forgiveness. You kind of make out to your contacts, say, listen, my boss just did this. I'm really sorry. It's happening now. So it's already in train. So you don't need to ask for permission and you can feign, yeah, it wasn't me. But off the back of that, one extra contact is not enough. You then, off the back of that conversation and getting that engagement, you've got to look for other points of contact that you can then get delegated down into. But that's also a tough one to come back from. It's not a deal killer if you dress it correctly, dress it early enough. But you just got to make sure that going into these big deals that we're aware that anything from 5 to 11, maybe more people could be involved in the sign off of this. And 2 or 3 of them will sit above the power line. We need engagement with them. We don't need to speak to everybody, but we need a majority, right? We need at least half of those individuals to be talking to. And then the final one I see, and I see this a lot, is when we set up to have an exec engagement meeting for a big deal and it's underwhelming. It might not be a complete disaster. We get half an hour with the exec. They're underwhelmed. Their energy levels are low after the conversation that we've had. Typically, the problem is we've gone in too high too early, right? We've asked for time with the exec. We haven't understood their business well enough. We haven't built enough groundswell. We don't have enough insights that we can take to that exec meeting so that they get value from it. Key lesson here, don't be in a rush to get to power. Spend your time below the power line, build consensus, get to know that organization better than they do. Cultivate or gather insights that you can share with them that are either top of mind for them because they're really big things they need to solve, or they're insights about their business that they didn't even know about. And you are then bringing them fresh areas that they need to work on. And while it might sound like you're just bringing them problems, actually, one thing bosses hate, one thing exec leaders hate is surprises. You are giving them insight before it kind of smacks them in the face. So, short and sharp today. Those are the three biggest mistakes. There's plenty of others that we make, but those are the three ones I see that come up most often when I'm talking with the clients. And let's face it, that I've made myself in my long and at times rather painful sales career. Of all of these, number two is the easiest to avoid, in my opinion. Just make sure that you get 5 contacts minimum in any enterprise deal. If you're not operating with 5 contacts, one of which at least sits above the power line, you're in trouble. So that's it. Day 18, coming back day 19 tomorrow. Glad to have you. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll see you soon.